Benny Hill for his slapstick humor that could make even the most serious viewer laugh. His unique comedic style and on-screen presence captured audiences around the world. However, as societal views changed, the show faced growing criticism for its portrayal of women and reliance on provocative jokes. Despite being a multimillionaire, Benny struggled with insecurities and deeply feared spending money. Benny wore his clothes until worn out and even glued his shoes back on when they came loose. Join us as we explore the Benny Hill Show's legacy. Mo Alfred Hill, later known as Benny Hill, was born in Southampton, England on January 21, 1925, and was regarded as a class clown. By age 6 he was already making money by performing popular songs for beachgoers. He dropped out of school as a teenager and got a job as a milkman, but later decided to go to London in the hope of a better future there. He managed to get a job in a theatre's props department. Hill got his big break when an actor couldn't perform due to being drunk, and the director, impressed by Hill's backstage impressions, gave him a chance. In 1942, Benny was mobilized to join the British Army during the Second World War and was trained as a mechanic. He served in Normandy during September 1944, wherein he worked as a mechanic, lorry driver and searchlight operator. Later, he moved to the Combined Service Entertainment Division for soldiers, sailors, airmen and Marines. Benny had seen comedians in British music halls and decided to go into show business. He chose to call himself Benny after a fellow comedian, Jack Benny. Benny Hill began his career anew after World War II and reached new heights with his first radio broadcast on Variety Bandbox on October 5, 1947, and his television debut in 1950. He also starred in a sitcom called Benny Hill from 1962 to 1963, where he portrayed a different character in every episode. In the same year, 1964, he featured in a television play as Nick Bottom in A Midsummer Night's Dream, whereby he played the role of an ass. Between 1964 and 1966, he presented the Benny Hill Time program, which included humorous sketches like Bond and the Beatles. Benny Hill appeared in 5 feature films: Who Done It in 1956, Light Up the Sky in 1960, Those Magnificent Men in Their Flying Machines in 1965, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in 1968, and The Italian Job in 1969. He also made 2 short films, The Waiters 1969 and Eddie in August 1970. In 1974, a compilation film, The Best of Benny Hill, was released featuring clips from his early TV shows. Hill's various audio creations that are famous at present are Gather in the Mushrooms, Peep's Diary released in 1961, Transistor Radio also in 1961, Harvest of Love in 1963, and Ernie the Fastest Milkman in the West, which topped the charts during the Christmas of 1971 chart in the UK. For the song Ernie, he received an Ivor Novello Award in 1972. Many people with much clout cherish Benny Hill. Johnny Carson, Adam Carolla, and Michael Jackson even applauded Hill during his tour in the 70s. Hill portrayed Scuttle in Genesis's music video for Anything She Does, released in 1987. In 2011, the rapper Snoop Dogg stated their affection for Hill as he was working many film stars such as Burt Reynolds, Michael Caine, Mickey Rooney, and many others appreciated the comedy of Hill, and novelist Anthony Burgess said that he was a comic genius like Charlie Chaplin and Stan Laurel. What do you think about people comparing Benny Hill to Charlie Chaplin? Benny Hill Show was among some of the most popular Television programs that aired during the early 1970s with millions of viewers across the globe. What can be said about it is, the show was filled with memorable sketches and characters that performed physical comedy alongside sketches. This show first came onto the screens of BBC in 1955 with shorter acts of comedy and musical portions. Hill took the show to BBC until 1968, then transferred it to Tees Television. In 1969, Benny Hill Show's comedy was characterized by slapstick, mime parody, and even double entendre at its highest. This show had more than 21 million viewers in 1971 for the work done. In 1972, Hill was awarded the BAFTA Television Award in 2 categories: Best Writer and Best Entertainment Performance. The show became popular in the United States during the 1970s and remained on syndication until 1991. It was nominated for Emmy Awards in 1980 and 1981, and Hill won the Rose d'Or in 1984. However, Tim Television cancelled the show in 1989 due to declining ratings and high production costs of around $555,000 per episode, equivalent to $1.75 million in 2024. Despite its cancellation, the show's influence persisted. In 2015, its theme song was voted #1 in the ITV special The Sound of ITV, the nation's favorite theme tune. The Benny Hill Show's interesting structure and engaging in plotline kept viewers entertained. It featured Benny Hill in short comedy sketches with occasional musical performances by contemporary artists. Hill often wore various costumes to play a wide range of characters. While the show faced criticism for sexism, Hill defended it, saying the women kept their dignity while the men were made to look foolish. The show used fast motion and visual jokes to create what Hill called live animation, along with mime and Paris techniques. The show often ended with a fast chase scene involving Hill being pursued, often due to his antics, accompanied by the instrumental Yakety Sax mimicking old Keystone Cops chases. Hill also wrote and performed pattern songs and entertained audiences with high-speed rhymes and songs done in a single take. Hill's creativity with television cameras allowed him to create comedic illusions, as seen in his 1976 parody Murder on the Oregon Express. He used editing, camera angles, and impersonations to portray 1970s detectives like Ironide and Kojak. Throughout his career, he also parodied American celebrities and fictional characters such as W.C. Fields and Marlon Brando, and spoofed shows like the $6 Million Man, Starsky and Hutch, and the A-Team called the B-Team in his version. Hill didn't just parody American celebrities but also impersonated international stars like Nana Musuri and Miriam MBA, and British celebrities like Shirley Bassey, Michael Caine, and newscasters Reginald Bank, Alan Wicker, and Cliff Melmore. He also mimicked pop show hosts Jimmy Savile and Tony Blackburn, musician Roger Whittaker, producer Tony Hatch, political figures Lord Boothby and Dennis He, and comedian Dave Allen. Occasionally, Hill even impersonated his former Nicholas Parsons in a spoof of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. He played both Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. The show's closing theme, Yakety Sax, written by James Q. Spider Rich and Boots Randolph, became iconic. The musical director was Ronnie Aldrich, with vocal backing from the Ladybirds, who also appeared on screen between 1969 and 1974. Peter Hughes played the saxophone solo in Aldrich's version of Yakety Sax, which first appeared in the 1969 episode marking the show's debut on Tim's television. Albert Elms became a musical director for a few episodes in 1973. 1974. The show had a signature, enthusiastic announcer intro, often delivered by Henry McGee with the words, "Yes, it's the Benny Hill Show," from 1975. Onward, Hill was introduced as the lad himself. He often ended the show with a salute saying, "Thank you for being with us and we look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Until then, bye-bye." The main cast included Henry McGee, John Keefe, Ken Sedid, Nicholas Parsons, Bob Todd and Jackie Wright. The regular female cast members, or sex pot women, included Jenny Lee Wright, Sue Bond, Bettina LaBelle, Leslie Goldie, Cherry Gillum, and Diana Derry. Later, Hill Angels, a dance troupe, joined the show with Sue Upton and Louise English as regulars. Jane Leaves appeared briefly in the early 1980s. Female singers from the Ladybirds like Maggie Stredder regularly appeared as backing singers. Character actresses included Anna Dawson, Bella Emberg, Rita Webb, Helen Horton, and Patricia Hayes. Despite his fame, Benny Hill never married or had children, and the reasons for this are clear. Two women, including actress Annette Andre, admitted rejecting his advances in the early 1960s, though details were not revealed in an interview with Jane Dexter for the Daily Mirror. Hill spoke about his difficulties finding a girlfriend, comparing it to working in a chocolate factory where too many choices made it hard to focus on one. He said he preferred a woman with common sense from an everyday profession, like an office worker, factory employee, or shop assistant. The closest he came to marriage was with dancer Doris Deal, but the relationship ended when she said she wasn't ready to marry. Despite his romantic challenges, Hill faced rumors about his sexuality, which he strongly denied. He remained focused on his work, spent long hours perfecting scripts and sketches, and was known for perfectionism. Even with his wealth, Hill lived modestly, renting a double-room apartment in London for 26 years, later moving to Fairways House in Teddington in 1986, continuing to rent rather than own a home. He considered himself a man of ordinary habits due to his upbringing. Therefore, he opted for simple things, such as cheap supermarket food, walking instead of taking a taxi, and mending his clothes instead of having them replaced. Despite having a driving license, he never owned a car and was more of an alchemist in the truest sense of the word, living a life with the barest of necessities. Though introverted, Hill excelled in the spotlight, blending humor with his passion for music. He was a talented saxophone player and incorporated music into his comedy sketches, often parodying popular songs, which added another layer of creativity to his performances. His dedication to his craft contributed to the immense popularity of The Benny Hill Show. But was that all there was to Benny Hill? Keep watching to find out. Benny Hill was never homosexual, but was known for being funny and drag, playing characters like Fanny Cratig, A. Toothy, Moira Anderson, and all three of the Beverly Sisters. His personal life remained mysterious, and one of his darker traits was his fear of women. Despite his talent, Hill was extremely shy and awkward around women. He often mentioned two childhood incidents that shaped his bachelorhood: one where a girl on the beach wouldn't share her shells, and another where a girl at a fair refused to share her candy floss. He claimed these moments were so traumatic they justified his lifelong solitude. Hill admitted to following these girls home, but insisted he never spoke to them, saying, "I wouldn't do that." Whether this behavior was chivalrous or unsettling is debatable, but it contributed to his lonely life. Although Hill passed the Plus exam at age 10 he wasn't interested in school and had few friends. He soon left to work as a clerk at Phoenix Wharf and Coal Company in Southampton and later unloaded laws for Woolworths, where he secretly admired a girl named Jean at the perfume counter but faced yet another rejection as a delivery man for Dorset Dairies. Benny Hill created the character of Ernie, the fastest milkman in the West, envisioning himself driving a wagon train. The song he wrote about these adventures won him an Ivor Novello Award. In 1972, years earlier, Hill found comfort in the motherly care of women as described by a former colleague. Unlike Robin Asth, known for his wild sexual escapades, Hill discovered that performing in local shows and variety concerts was a powerful way to gain attention. He started telling jokes for a modest 5 shillings a night, believing that becoming a clown would make everyone adore him, thinking that's life for me. Despite his dreams of showbiz success, his parents disapproved, with his mother suggesting get a real job, Alfie, one with a pension. You could be a postman. Hill moved to London during nights in rat-infested air raid shelters. He found work as an assistant stage manager in East Ham, where he painted backdrops and cleaned up after Silas dogs and the